ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome everyone for today's our discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So before starting, I would like to request you can share something from our yesterday's discussion.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Yes,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
हाँ प्रभु
Yes,
जी।
yes.
तो कल बताया जैसे कि अर्जुन जो थे वो रीजंस दे रहे थे कि हमें फाइट क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए। और जैसे कि उन्होंने कल बताया कि जो भी वो रीजन दे रहे थे वो अपने मेंटल स्पेकुलेशन से नहीं दे रहे थे। वो बता रहे थे जैसे कि जो भी महान गुरु हुए और उससे जो डिसाइपलिक सक्सेशन चलता आ रहा है
Yes.
उसी नॉलेज के हिसाब से वो ये रीजन दे रहे थे, अपने मेंटल स्पेकुलेशन से नहीं दे रहे थे, क्योंकि हमारा मेंटल जो स्पेकुलेशन है वो कभी भी सही आंसर नहीं मिलेगा, हमसे हमें सही आंसर नहीं मिलेगा। तो कल ये भी बताया उन्होंने कि अगर फैमिली जो अगर ये अनवांटेड पॉपुलेशन अगर जनरेट हुई तो जो भी
Yes.
फैमिली के एंसेस्टर्स वगैरह हैं वो हमेशा हेलिश लाइफ में रहेंगे।
Yes.
और उनकी फैमिली ट्रेडिशंस वगैरह जो कल्चर होगा वो पूरा डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगा।
Okay. Very nice. Okay. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, please. Anyone else would like to recollect something from yesterday's discussion? No?
हरे कृष्ण सर।
Hare Krishna Divyanshu. Yes.
सर मैं एक आपको बात याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ सर। अपन ने कल ये भी देखा था कि जैसे कि हर रात के बाद सुबह आती है, उसी
Yeah.
प्रकार मतलब ये अभी कलयुग चल रहा है। कलयुग में मतलब वेद और अपने मतलब जो भी कल्चर था सर वो सब डिस्ट्रॉय होता जा रहा है धीरे धीरे। इससे ये
Yes.
सब मतलब जो वेद ग्रंथों की मतलब जो नॉलेज थी वो सब लोगों में चली जा रही है, और जितने ज्यादा लोग इंडिपेंडेंट हो रहे हैं वो सब है ना मतलब गलत रास्ते पे जाते जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें कोई सही गाइड करने वाला नहीं है। और वो मानते हैं कि ना उनके पास जो नॉलेज है वही उनके लिए सफिशिएंट है। इससे वो मतलब जो चाहे वो कर सकते हैं, मतलब उन्हें किसी और अतिरिक्त नॉलेज की जरूरत नहीं है। तो इससे उनकी मतलब फाउंडेशंस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गई हैं और वो सब मतलब गलत रास्ते पे जा रहे हैं और ये सब एक टाइम पे खत्म होगा, कलयुग के खत्म होने से सब।
Yeah.
और फिर उसके बाद जो भी युग आएगा।
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, very nice. Yes, Santosh and Yashwant Kushwaha, you would like to say something?
यस सर, आपने कल ये भी बताया था कि जो साधु और जो ब्राह्मण होते हैं वो जन्म से ही ब्राह्मण नहीं होते, साधु नहीं होते। अगर उनके पास पूरी नॉलेज है अपनी वैदिक कल्चर की और वेद्स की, जो भी अपने सुप्रीम गॉड से रिलेटिव
हाँ.
गॉड की ट्रू नॉलेज है, वो साधु होते हैं।
Yes.
यस सर।
Okay, very nice. Yes, कोई और कुछ बताना चाहेगा? Okay, so yes, as you all mentioned, this Vedic knowledge is being explained by Arjuna. Is not giving reasons because of his own understanding. Whatever he has heard from disciplic succession, he is mentioning. So in the previous verse, he said, Utsanna kula dharmana manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavat ete anushushuma. This word anushushuma means I have heard in disciplic succession. So we discussed about it a lot. And as Shivam also said that through our own speculation, through our own understanding, knowledge about this world, about our own life, purpose of this life, we cannot come to the complete conclusion. So that is why we need to hear from the authorities, proper bona fide authorities. One more important thing is why we cannot have complete and perfect knowledge. I mentioned uh, uh, complete knowledge cannot be have because we don't know the entirety of the universal creation. And why we can't have the perfect knowledge? Because our senses are imperfect. We have 4 defects. It has been explained in the scriptures that any human being, he has 4 defects, because of which he cannot have the proper perfect knowledge. And because of this, having these 4 defects, a person many times he uh, becomes frustrated, dissatisfied, or unhappy. So I'll just briefly mention what are these 4 defects because of which our knowledge, whatever we experience through our own senses, or whatever knowledge we get from some other person of this world, that cannot be called as perfect knowledge. The first one is that our senses are imperfect. Does everybody agree this point, that our senses are imperfect? Because any knowledge, whatever knowledge take, we take through these senses, either from eyes or ears, from smelling, from touching, from seeing. So these are the senses, knowledge acquiring senses. And then ultimately, when we gather this some information, knowledge from these knowledge acquiring senses, then later on, this knowledge is contemplated by mind, and mind is also one of the senses. Chief sense, it is called as chief sense among all the senses. And mind is also imperfect. Our senses has many limitation, like we can only hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. We cannot have the hearing, unlimited hearing capabilities. And also we can see only limited range of light. It's like 300 nanometer to 700 nanometer wavelength. Only that much we can see. But the light has infinite spectrum. Only very small percentage of the light we can see. And similarly for hearing, and similarly for smelling. So that is why we cannot have the complete picture of the universe. And another proof of this, of our having imperfect senses, is that sometimes we see something which does not exist, and sometimes we see something which exists but we are not able to see. Can you give some examples of the such things where we see, but those things does not exist, and this proves that we are imperfect?
Mirage.
Yes, mirage. So we see mirage existing, but actually it does not exist. So this is imperfection of the senses. And then there are many things which we can, which exist, but we cannot see. Can you give some of the examples for this?
Molecules,
Yeah,
atoms, air.
atoms, molecules, airs, we cannot see, but this exists. A mind and intelligence, like every one of us, we have mind and intelligence, but we cannot see. Can you see your mind and intelligence? Does everybody has mind and intelligence, but we cannot see, isn't it? But this mind and intelligence, they exist. So we come to this conclusion that whatever see, that is not all in all. Just like one of the scientists in early days, she went to space using his Sputnik or space shuttle, and when he reached in one of the space station, and he was looking around all over the space, and he concluded that because I have come to the space and nowhere I'm seeing there is any God. So God does not exist because I'm not able to see where is God, where is the kingdom of God. Nothing is there. So he concluded like this. Just imagine, such is the position of great scientists. So what can we expect from them? I'm not saying whatever discoveries they are doing, this is the all everything is false, but there is limitation. When I say that scientists of this world, they cannot understand about God, that does not mean that I'm criticizing them or I'm saying that all of their discoveries are wrong. I'm not saying like this. Their discoveries within this Earth planet, like whatever systems they have made, mechanical system or technologies, this is all correct, no problem. And these are also discovered using the laws of God, like electromagnetic waves. If electromagnetic waves this was not there, then entire of our entirety of technology will fail. So this is also given by God, but of course um there is the credit goes to scientists also because they have so wonderfully discovered it and so wonderfully um, made so much technologies. But the point is that because simply because they have made so wonderful technologies, that does not make them all in all, that they can give knowledge about everything. That is not possible. Just like suppose, and when we say, and when I say that the scientists, they cannot give complete knowledge, rather any knowledge about God or existence about this universe, origin of life, origin of creation, then that does not mean that I'm criticizing them. That is their limitation. We should not take in that way. It's like suppose I'll give one example, you will be able to understand. Suppose you have a bike, very wonderful bike, huh? So you can use that bike within the city to for some specific purpose, like if you want to go to college or school or market or to purchase something small things. So bike is a very nice vehicle, you can use it, and it is very nicely running and everything, and you can save your money also, and you can save your time also, and so many things, and so many advantages are there. But simply because bike is fulfilling so many requirements of yours within the range of city, that does not mean you cannot say that using this bike I'll go to America. Because if you have to go to America, can you go using the bike? No, although the bike is working very nicely within the range of city, or one city, two city, three cities, one state, you can say, but nobody uh, can say that using this bike I will go to America. That is not possible. So if I say your bike will not be effective for you if you want to go to America, that does not mean that I'm criticizing the bike, but that is just the limitation of bike. Everyone will accept, because if you want to go to America, you need to fly around 900 kilometer per hour, but the range of your bike is itself, I think, 150, 160, 120, and you cannot drive more than 90 kilometer per hour, 100 kilometer per hour, and it will be very much, it is not possible. So I hope you are able to understand. Similarly, doesn't matter a person how much great scientist he may be, but he cannot have the knowledge about God's creation. He cannot have the knowledge about God, proper understanding about the Supreme Lord, about his creation, the purpose behind this, and certainly not how to fulfill that purpose. And just like the other day, I gave the example of a very nice building. An intelligent person, a civil engineer or an architect, if he comes and he analyzes properly how the building is being made, then he can tell that what are the materials used here and how this building is being is designed. And he may also, if he's a very expert architect or expert civil engineer, he may also point out that these are the weaknesses, these are the strong points of this building or the age of that building. But can any civil engineer or architect tell what is the purpose of this building? What is the who made this building? Is it possible for any intelligent civil engineer or any intelligent architecture designer? No. Why? If you can answer this question, then you have understood the point nicely. Can you answer why engineer, however intelligent he may be, if he comes across a building, unknown building, he cannot tell who made this building and what is the purpose of this building. Although by analyzing, by seeing the building, by observing the building, he may tell various things about the building, about the structure, but certainly he cannot tell about who made this building and what is the purpose of this building. Yes. Why? Yes, can anybody tell?
Because he doesn't know about the owner.
Yeah, very nice. Simple. I'm asking very simple question. Every one of you know, I hope. This is not a difficult question because he doesn't know who made this building. He doesn't know about the owner. So simply by his intelligence, his knowledge about the scientific knowledge about the building, constructions, and all those materials, he can never come to this conclusion who is the owner of the building. And if he wants to know who is the owner of this building, what he has to do? He has to take this knowledge or lesson from somebody else who knows this. Am I right? On his own,
Yes.
yeah, on his own, he cannot understand because this knowledge is completely beyond his scope, completely beyond. So he has to take knowledge or lesson from somebody who knows about it. In chair. So what he has to do? He has to approach a person who knows who is the owner, and if he wants to know what is the purpose of this building, making this building, then he has to uh, visit the owner and ask him then that why you have made this building. So then if the owner explains this is the purpose of making this building, then he may understand. Similarly, here also doesn't matter uh, how much great or how much intelligent we are in the matter of science, we can not understand who made this universe and what is the purpose of this universe. So for this, we need to approach that person, the Supreme Lord, who has made this world and who has given the purpose. So the point is that because of having these imperfections in our senses, this is first defect. And then second defect, because we have imperfect senses, there is always a chance that we'll put into illusion. Because of having imperfect senses, what happens? We are always put into illusion. This is second defect. And then third, in this illusion, we commit mistakes. Because if we don't have complete knowledge, so certainly we'll commit mistakes and that mistakes will further lead us towards ignorance. So this is third defect. Everyone is doing this. These 4 defects which I am mentioning, it is applicable for everyone, down starting from any human being, great scientist to any small boy committing mistake. And then the fourth one is tendency to cheat. So this cheating tendency is there in everyone. Doesn't matter whether in a small way or larger way, but everyone wants to hide his mistakes, and for this he cheats. There is a cheating propensity is there in everyone, because nobody wants that other person they come to know that I am so foolish. Because if suppose if I have committed some mistake, and then if my mistakes are revealed, then other person what they will think, that such and such great person, great scientist, intelligent person, he committed such mistake, so my name will be ruined. So what I will do, I will try to hide those mistakes, and that is called cheating. So it's there in everyone, and we should accept that these things are there in us also. And because of these 4 defects, we cannot have proper knowledge, complete and perfect knowledge, which can completely satisfy us and give us proper happiness. And that is why we need to depend upon some higher authorities, especially this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. This was one more important point, disciplic succession, regarding disciplic, to get knowledge from disciplic succession. Many of the points which I am discussing, you might feel that this I already know, or this I have already accepted. So why so much to discuss about this point? Because all of you who are attending this class, you already accept that yes, Bhagavad Gita is the supreme knowledge, and we should accept this. Then you might think that why I'm discussing this point again. So there are the 2-3 reasons behind this. So let me mention these reasons, because although you have not asked this question, but I know these questions come. So that is why I'm answering this question. Yes, am I right? Some of you have this question? No? If you don't have this question, then you answer this question. Yes, yes, Santosh.
Yes sir, क्वेश्चन तो है.
Yeah, very nice. That is why whenever I'm asking you ask question, you should ask these questions, okay? Because okay, this question I guess that you might have this question, but you should always be in asking mode. You are always welcome. You don't feel that if I ask this question, this is not good, sir will feel bad. No, nothing. Whatever question you have, without hesitation, you are always welcome to ask. So I understand these questions may arise, because when I was in the beginning, when I was hearing such kind of lectures, so I also got such questions, because I was also very much inclined towards Bhagavad Gita, and I accepted, yes, we need the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And why again and again this point is repeated in different ways, giving so many examples, so many scientific backgrounds, so many with so many analogies, why this is again and again proved that we are imperfect, and we need, and actually we are in need of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. I already accept, that is why I'm attending these classes. So the point is, there are 2-3 reasons. The first reason is that you may be accepting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but once if you tell to somebody else about that, you also attend this Bhagavad Gita, you also attend these classes of Bhagavad Gita, you also read Bhagavad Gita, he may not accept this. So then if you are properly understood, and you have the proper reasoning and logic, so then you can convince him that why do we need knowledge from Bhagavad Gita? Why should we not only be dependent upon our own experience, or why should we not only be dependent upon the experience of some person of this earth? Why uh, we must need this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? So then you will be able to explain him with logics and reasoning. And second thing, which is connected with this reason, that if suppose this other person, if he says, I don't need, why should we take knowledge from Bhagavad Gita? We should be dependent upon our own experience. Because if we act in our life according to our own experience and understanding, that will make our life more successful. If he says something like this, so although right now you are accepting that, okay, I should read Bhagavad Gita, I should take knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, but at that time, if you don't have proper reasoning, then you may also get diverted. You may also feel, yes, maybe he's correct. So that is why you need such reasonings, so that when somebody, if he tries to divert you, then you may be able to at least defeat him, or if you are not able to convince him, at least you will be convinced. So that is important. And third reason, which is more important, that I'll give this reason with one example, then you will be able to understand it nicely. You all have read mathematics and physics in your schools, okay, 11th or 12th, or any subject where some concepts are described, some calculations are there. So you must have observed that the same concept, with using the same concept, many questions are being solved. I mean, teachers they give many questions, many examples, so for us to solve. Why? Using the same concept. Because the more we uh, solve the questions in having different angles, and with having different examples, the same concept becomes more and more solidified, isn't it? Am I right? And then,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
Guruji.
and then what happens, you are very much convinced, you are very much, what you say, pakka with that concept. You can, even if any problems come regarding using that concept, you will be able to solve. And that is what exactly happens in exams. You are able to solve. And in our life, so many exams will come, like so many challenges will come, problems will come. And at that time, if our this concept is very much solidified, then we will be able to solve those problems and face those challenges in our life. Otherwise, in India, everyone knows the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Everyone accepts, yes, Bhagavad Gita is important. But how many people they are able to, means take shelter of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? Or how many people they are able to actually apply it in their life when the challenges come? Very few. Why? Because many people they just know. And this is the experience in India. If you, and this is so much unfortunate condition. If you tell a person that you read Bhagavad Gita, and you try to listen to classes of Bhagavad Gita, he says, I know, from my childhood I have been reading Bhagavad Gita. He says, I am a Brahmana, I am a son of a Brahmana. My father used to read Bhagavad Gita from day one of my life, so I know Bhagavad Gita. But actually he doesn't know anything. And if you ask, okay, if you know Bhagavad Gita, okay, please tell what is in the Bhagavad Gita, he cannot say anything. Even if he says, he can only say karma hi puja hai. But this is nonsense. This I will prove in third chapter, where Lord Krishna speaks on karma yoga. The people, they don't have any understanding about what is karma, and they just say karma hi puja hai. You just do your work and कर्म करते रहो और फल की इच्छा मत करो. This is their understanding of Bhagavad Gita. But nowhere in the Bhagavad Gita this concept, these kinds of things are being spoken by the Supreme Lord. Nowhere. You tell me in which sloka Lord Krishna says that karma hi puja hai, or in which sloka Lord Krishna says that आप कर्म करते रहो, फल की चिंता मत करो. Can any one of you say like quote some of the verses where Lord Krishna speaks like this? No. But people have this misunderstanding, and although they are ignorance, having misunderstanding about Bhagavad Gita, but still they think that I know Bhagavad Gita, and so they neglect. That is why I don't want such kind of thing with myself also, and from yourself also. So if you nicely understand with each and every logic, in using different angles, then you will become more solidified in the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and your concepts will be more solidified. You will have more determination. This determination to apply the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and even to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita properly, comes from this detailed discussion on the principles of Bhagavad Gita. And this is a sastric point. It is explained in one of the scriptures, Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is explained, Siddhanta Balya Nakara Alas. And for next line, I forgot. Next line he says, because when we don't become lazy in hearing about the principles of Bhagavad Gita, and if we are very much careful, if we are very carefully hearing about the discourses on Bhagavad Gita with using with various examples, using our own intelligence, using the intelligence of others who give us knowledge, and properly hear and contemplate it in our own life and in dealings with others and in the entire universe, then this knowledge becomes more prominent in our heart, and then we become more determined to apply these teachings in our life, and which is more important, because everyone, I hope every one of you want this, that you not only understand Bhagavad Gita, but you want to apply it in your life so that you can improve your life. Does Isn't it? Everyone does everyone wants this, that you want to understand also and you want
Yes,
to
sir.
apply it also. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, everyone wants this. That is why
Yes.
uh, you should try to understand this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with different angles, with different examples. So in beginning phases, that is why I'm so much focusing upon and proving, just so that we can increase our intensity and desire to take shelter of the knowledge of Gita. Just like one more example I can give. If somebody, how a student, he gets so much inspiration to crack IIT JEE, or to crack medical exams, or to crack IS exams, so many civil services exams, so many government exams. How does he get so much inspiration and so much determination to do? Be- The same thing happens because through different ways, different mediums, in different ways, he is inspired that this is very important in our life. We hear from media, we hear from our society, we hear from our friend circle, we hear from uh, already already from students who have already cracked those JEE exams, IIT exam. We read success stories from different magazines, and we hear from parents and so many things. In different ways, then we are inspired that yes, I must crack IIT JEE or medical exam or IS exam, civil services exams. Then we are more inspired and determined, and that with when this inspiration comes, so strong inspiration comes. So in spite of any challenges, problems, we are able to face those challenges and crack it. And the same thing happens here also. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if we are very much inspired with the thorough understanding, then even if the challenges, greatest challenges will come, but it still will not leave this knowledge, not leave chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Rather, we, in any difficult situation of life, will take shelter of the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and by reading, by taking shelter of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So uh, this is to make you more determined and stronger in understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that is why I'm taking uh, sometimes 2-3 classes on one verses also. Whatever I'm getting the means whatever is required to tell you. Okay, so one more thing. This was the reason I am again and again. Sometimes I'm repeating the same concept through different examples and angles. So am I clear now, or does anyone else has anything to ask regarding this? If I am clear with this, if you are agree with, then you can raise your hand virtually, then I will be able to understand. So only 2 students, 3, okay, and rest of the Divyanshu and Yashwant Kushwaha, you are okay with this? Okay, okay. So next, one more important thing is there in this verse. I'll cover that also, and then we'll go ahead. So here, Arjuna is saying, Utsan kul dharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavateti anushushuma. So here, Arjuna is saying, this kula dharmana, is principles of religion, of Vedas, knowledge of Vedic culture. This is meant for Manushyanam, for human beings. A specific word is being used, Manushyanam. So this applies for human beings, not for animals. Animals, because animals, they cannot understand. Their intelligence, they also have intelligence, thinking power, some discrimination power also. But their thinking power, discrimination power, and intelligence is limited only for sense gratification, only for to arrange eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, these four things. That is why they are not entitled. I mean, they are not liable to be punished for their sinful activities. Even if they commit some sinful activities, for them there is no sinful activities. Scriptures are also not for animals. These are only for human beings, because they have been awarded extra intelligence with some purpose to execute. So that is why Manushyanam, for human beings. There are two things. One is Shastra and another is Sastra. Shastra means weapons and Shastra is scriptures. So this Shastra or weapons is meant for animals, or or such humans who have the mentality of animals. But Shastras are only meant for human beings. Just like I'll give one example. Suppose if some area is there which is restricted for unknown person or unknown entity, whether human being or animals. So how do these restrictions are conveyed to the living entities, people in general? They put a notice board there that without permission, no entry. This is written there, and that is Shastra, scripture, and that is meant for human beings. But animal cannot follow that. So that is why what they do, they keep up this security guard also, so that if an animal tries to enter, because he cannot read that without permission, no entry. He doesn't have that much intelligence. So for him, they also arrange a Shastra, security guard. So with Shastra, they control animals, and with Shastra, human beings are controlled. But everyone is controlled in this world. This is for sure. So if a human being, if he does not agree to be controlled by the instructions or rules regulations of the Shastras, scriptures, then he must be controlled by Shastra or weapons. Weapons means punishment for his sinful activities. Because now his mentality is like an animal. So that is why we see those people who follow the Vedic injunctions, so they are already under control, rules and regulations. So they don't get this weapons or this punishment. But those who don't follow, so they incur the sinful activities and then they get the punishment, this Shastra. So that is why Arjuna, he is telling, ki Utsanna Kula Dharma Nam, when spoiled, this family traditions or this Vedic tradition is spoiled, then Manushya Nam Janardana, these kinds of human beings, although this Vedic tradition is meant for human beings, but these human beings, when they Utsanna, they spoil this Vedic tradition, then for such kind of people, Narake Niyatam Vaso Bhavati iti Anusuchrama, they get their residence in hell. So this is very logical point, and that is why we should become a human being, an intelligent person, and follow the scriptures of the injunctions. Okay. And there, one more important thing is there in this verse, Arjuna, in the purport it is written that if somebody has performed some kind of wrong activities, sinful activities, then he must perform the process of atonement before giving up the body. Otherwise, he will be punished. And that process of atonement is also known as prayashchitta. So if somebody has done some sinful activity, then he has to perform prayashchitta. And if he does not perform, then what Arjuna is saying, Narake Niyatam Vasa, he will be punished in hell for a long period of time. So that is why in earlier ages also, in Vedic ages also, if somebody murders a person, then the king used to hang him directly, and that was the mercy upon that person, because when the king has hanged him, then this is a kind of atonement, a prayashchitta for that person, and in this way the king saves him in further gliding down to the hellish condition of life. But if a person who has done some criminal activities, and if he is not properly punished in this life, then he has to suffer more. Just like if a thief, he steals, or if he commits any sinful crime, and if he himself comes and surrenders, okay, by mistake I did this, then what happens? Government gives him some suitable punishment, and then he is released. But if the thief or criminal, he does not surrender, or sometimes it also happens that the criminal, he has been arrested and put into the jail, but still he tries to escape the jail, and sometimes he escapes also the jail, but again the policemen, they will capture him, and then he will get more punishment, because he has not taken the suitable punishment for what he has done. So that is why it is also important to note that if we do something wrong, we should accept. We should accept that, okay, I am doing the wrong thing. If a person, he is doing wrong thing and he knows also, and he simply goes on living, but he does not care to know how can I free from this, or if he does not accept, he has no repentance over it, then he is in more dangerous position. So the lesson for us is that in our life we have already committed so many sinful activities in this life also, in many previous life also. So we should accept. First thing, we should accept, yes, I'm so means unnecessarily engaged in so many wrong activities. And what is the most wrong activity, which I have again and again told, that because the most important is, somebody may say, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm nicely executing my job, I'm studying, I'm a student, or I'm working person, I'm taking care of body, all these things. But the main wrong activity which we are doing out of ignorance is that we think that I'm this body. We think that this body, the senses, and the resources of this world belongs to me, and we are forgetting who have provided these resources to me. So this is the most wrong thing we are doing. So now, because we have knowledge, we should accept. Yes, till now I was in ignorance. I tried. This was all resources of Supreme Lord, and I tried to engage it in my sense gratification. This senses, this body belongs to the Lord. But now I understand that these all resources and senses and my body and my life is meant to serve the Lord. Now let me properly understand what He wants from me. And the Supreme Lord does not say that you leave everything. He does not say like this. Whatever he has, the instructions I have already told, whatever instructions he has given in the Bhagavad Gita, that that is just to change your consciousness, your your knowledge. You need not to change your job, your lifestyle. I mean to say, lifestyle means your activities. You need not to change your activities. You may be doing all your activities, just like Arjuna over here. Arjuna, he is not changing his job. He was, before hearing Bhagavad Gita, he was a Kshatriya warrior, a householder man, having wife and children. And after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he was the same Arjuna, with different concept, different consciousness. Before hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was thinking that this body, this pupil, they belong to me. This kingdom, he is identifying with the body, everything, every one of them. So in this way, he was doing wrong thing, and he was thinking that how can I fight? I will become unhappy. So he was thinking about himself. So that was the wrong concept. But after hearing Bhagavad Gita, although his external situation was the same, he was still a grahastha, a householder, a kshatriya, and warrior having householder having wife and children, everything was the same. But now his consciousness changed. Now she accepted that whatever duty is there, and all this world, all these resources, all these family members, they all belong to the Supreme Lord, and I am just a caretaker. I'm here to just execute my duties to please the Supreme Lord. Similarly, we can also be throughout our life, we can be engaged in our specific job. Somebody is a doctor, he can remain doctor forever for entirety of his life. Somebody is an engineer, he can remain engineer. Somebody is doing some job, he can do his job. Somebody is having family life, he can maintain his family. There is no problem in it, but he has to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and act according to those instructions. So the instructions or knowledge given in the Bhagavad Gita does not tell us or inspire us to leave anything. Rather, it inspires us that we do our duty, keeping the Supreme Lord in center. That is what is the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. And this is very simple. If you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and keep attending knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then you can very nicely very nicely execute this purpose. There is no problem in it. The only thing we have to do, we have to change our consciousness. Then everything possible. Okay. So that is why this prashchita, which I was telling, is very important for us also. That we think over it, we contemplate, and we try to understand that how we have been engaged out of ignorance, what we were thinking. Just like many examples I gave, you can all relate all the examples. Like I gave the example of you are working in a company, a government. You are a very high government officer. So you get so much facilities, a car, a bungalow, and so many powers to execute. But when you understand, when somebody thinks that this is for all my enjoyment, then his resources, his freedom is taken away. But if he understands properly that all these resources belongs to the government, and this is meant to execute the government's purpose, that does not make him that he has to leave everything. Rather, he can still be a professor, and all the resources will be used by him only, but with a very nice consciousness, and the government will also be pleased, and in fact he will be more promoted. Similarly here also, if we accept the authority of Supreme Lord and surrender to him, become submissive to him, and accept to act according to his instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita, then we don't lose anything, we don't have to leave anything. Rather, we are more promoted. Rather, Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, he gives more facilities, more resources, because then he understands that this person is a genuine person, genuine devotee. So he will use all my resources very nicely. So he will give us more. It's not that we have to leave. Just like here, Pandavas, we can compare Pandavas and Kauravas, Duryodhan. So Duryodhan, he was not surrendered or submissive to the Supreme Lord Krishna, and that is why. And the Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas, they were fully surrendered and submissive to the Lord. They accepted the authority of the Lord, and they accepted to be guided by the Supreme Lord, to act according to His desire, to act to fulfill His purpose. Then what happened? The game changed. All the kingdom which was having with Duryodhana, entire earth was his kingdom. Those entire kingdom was shifted back to the Pandavas, because everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. So he can do this. So he gave everything to these Pandavas, and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj got all this kingdom back. Why? Because he was submissive and surrendered. The Supreme Lord very willingly he gave, because he understood that this king, he is a very surrendered soul, devotee of mine. So he will nicely do his business. So this is what is to say regarding this verse, that if we simply become submissive and surrender to the Supreme Lord, we will not be a loser in our life. Rather, we will become more happy, more satisfied, and we will also have material and spiritual happiness. All the resources will be with us. There is no problem. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, you may kindly ask. Yes, anyone is having any question?
अभी तक यूज नहीं किया, मैं भूल गया हूँ गुरुजी, क्या करूँ मैं?
नो प्रॉब्लम।
समझ नहीं पा रहा।
आप देखिए, आपने उस फ्रेंड को एटलीस्ट इतना आपने जो भी सुना उस बेसिस पे कन्विंस किया, तो और उसको अच्छा लगा, एग्री किया वो, तो दैट मीन्स आप कुछ तो आप समझ पा रहे हो कॉन्सेप्ट, बट चीजें भूल जा रहे हो, दैट इज नॉट द प्रॉब्लम। इसीलिए दैट इज वाई, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप रेगुलर सुनते रहोगे, और इसलिए मैं बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स बार बार रिपीट करता हूँ। दिस इज वन ऑफ द रीजन। एक और ये भी रीजन है, क्योंकि पता है, एंड ये मैंने आपसे डिस्कस भी किया था पहले भी, कि हमारा जो मेमोरी है वो बहुत वो है, शॉर्ट है मेमोरी। कलयुग का लक्षण है, दिस इज द सिम्टम्स ऑफ कलयुग, कि मेमोरी शॉर्ट होना, हम भूल जाते हैं चीजें। इसलिए बार बार जब हम रिपीटेड चीजों को सुनते हैं, वही चीज सुनते हैं, तो हमारे अंदर और अच्छे से समझ बैठती जाती है। और दूसरा, जो भी आप सुनते हैं, जस्ट ट्राई टू कंtemplate ओवर इट। कंtemplate मीन्स कि आप उसको जो सुन रहे हैं वो केवल एक ऐसे थर्ड पर्सन बन के मत सुनिए। आप ऐसे सुनिए कि आप सोच रहे, आप ऐसे देखो कि वो मेरे लिए है, मेरे लाइफ से कनेक्टेड है, और आप अपने लाइफ से कनेक्ट करते हो, दूसरों की लाइफ से भी कनेक्ट करते ये देखिए कि कैसे ये जो बोला जा रहा है ये सब चीजें सही है। इसीलिए देखो, मैं बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स लेता हूँ दूसरों के अलग अलग लाइफ से ले लेके, तब हमको समझ में आता है कि यस, इट इज कनेक्टेड। और उस जब हम ऐसा करते हैं तो वो फिर नॉलेज और डीप होता जाता है, और धीरे धीरे
और
बिल्डअप होगा। और अभी एटलीस्ट
और
देखो, अभी
गुरुजी,
हमारा फर्स्ट चैप्टर ही हुआ है। अभी तो एक्चुअली में एक सेंस में देखा जाए तो भगवद गीता स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है। जस्ट इमेजिन, भगवद गीता स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है, तब भी एटलीस्ट आप इतना समझ पा रहे हो और दूसरों को भी कन्विंस कर पा रहे हो भगवद गीता के बारे में, तो दैट इटसेल्फ अ ग्रेट साइन। हाँ, बहुत अच्छा है। और आप उसको भी इसमें कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, ठीक है।
हाँ गुरुजी, दूसरा भूलने का मेरा रीजन ये है क्योंकि हमारे मेडिकल फील्ड में अब फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री होती नहीं, तो
हाँ
माइंड खुल ही नहीं पाता। और बायोलॉजी को रट्टा मारते रहते हैं, रट्टा मारते रहते हैं, उसको कोई फायदा ही नहीं है, वो दिमाग को खोल ही नहीं पाती, बल्कि
हाँ,
दिमाग को और बंद कर देती है।
और बंद कर देते हैं, कोई
दिमाग
दिक्कत नहीं।
एक्टिवेट ही नहीं हो पाता
लेकिन वो तो
बिना
ठीक है, वो
फिजिक्स
तो आपका कॉलेज से रिलेटेड हो गया। लेकिन आप तो रह रहे हो इस समाज में,
भूलने का
और
भूलने का
आपने,
भूलने का रीजन बता रहा हूँ गुरुजी, मैं भूलने का रीजन बता रहा हूँ। अगर दिमाग एक्टिवेट रहता है तो बहुत चीजों को लंबे टाइम तक रख
हाँ
सकते
हाँ,
हैं
नहीं,
याद।
बात सही है, यस, एक्सेप्टेड। बट ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके साथ ही, ये चाहे फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री पढ़ने वाला हो, चाहे बायोलॉजी पढ़ने वाला हो, चाहे आर्ट्स पढ़ने वाला हो, या कुछ ना पढ़ने वाला हो, ये एक वो है, लक्षण है इस एज का ही, इस कलयुग का ही, कि सब लोग भूलते हैं। ठीक है, तो इसके विषय में आप मत टेंशन लीजिए, वो भूलने का है, स्वभाव ही है। इसलिए जब हम बार बार, आप जैसे बायोलॉजी पढ़ते हो, तो आप बार बार जब उस कॉन्सेप्ट को पढ़ते होगे, तभी तो वो लंबे समय तक याद रहता होगा। इसी प्रकार से यही है,
हाँ
इसलिए मैं बार बार रिपीट करता हूँ चीजें, स्पेशली जो मेन कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं रिगार्डिंग द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, अथॉरिटी ऑफ सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, रिगार्डिंग आवर पर्पस ऑफ दिस एग्जिस्टेंस, इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ भगवद गीता। अभी मैं इसलिए बार बार रिपीट करता हूँ, हाँ? तो ये धीरे धीरे हो जाएगा। और दूसरा, ये जो हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र है जो बताया मैंने, आप ये जब चैंटिंग करेंगे ना, तो आप इमेजिन भी नहीं कर सकते हैं कि नॉलेज अपने आप आपको हृदय में रिवील हो जाएगा, मतलब कि आप, नॉलेज तो लेना पड़ेगा गीता से, लेकिन जैसा आप अभी बता रहे हैं कि आप भूल जाते हैं, तो वो नहीं होगा। फिर जब भी आप कोई भी इंसिडेंट देखेंगे, कोई भी आप चैलेंज आएगा, कुछ भी जहाँ पे अप्लाई करना होगा ना, तुरंत आपके हृदय में वो प्रेरणा मिल जाएगी, और आपको वो ज्ञान तुरंत स्मरण आ जाएगा, और आप उसको अप्लाई कर पाओगे। क्योंकि ये आगे हम डिस्कस करेंगे, भगवद गीता में स्वयं भगवान बोलते हैं कि मैं खुद हृदय में बैठा हुआ हूँ, और जो भी मेरे से कनेक्ट हो जाता है, जो भी मेरा स्मरण करता है, चैंटिंग हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जब करता है, तो मैं उसके अंदर हृदय में उपस्थित जो गंदगी उसको साफ करता हूँ, और उसके अंदर वो ज्ञान, दिव्य ज्ञान प्रकाशित करता हूँ। तो ये धीरे धीरे होगा, ठीक है ना। बाकी
ओके
बहुत
ओके
अच्छा है।
गुरुजी, थैंक यू
हाँ, ओके
थैंक यू थैंक यू।
ओके। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण प्रभु
कृष्ण।
जी। हाँ प्रभु जी, ऐसे
यस शिवम को।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे
हाँ
कृष्णा।
प्रभु, हाँ प्रभु जी, जैसे भगवद गीता मैं भी पढ़ता था, मतलब बट मतलब उतना ज़्यादा डीप में नहीं जा पाता था मैं, और मतलब कभी कभार ऐसा लगता था कि मैं बोर भी हो रहा हूँ। बट
हम्म
जैसे कि प्रभु जी आपने जब समझाना स्टार्ट किया, तो प्रभु जी मैं रिलेट कर पा रहा था और प्रैक्टिकली उसको समझ पा रहा था। और जैसे कि आप जो एग्जाम्पल वगैरह देते हैं प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ से बहुत ही रिलेटेड होते हैं, तो और इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड है, तो बहुत ही शानदार प्रभु जी। मतलब बहुत बहुत समझ में भी आ रहा है और अब रिलेट भी कर पा रहा हूँ मैं।
हाँ, तो ये यही है, यही तरीका है, हमने सीखा ही है। आप प्रभुपाद जी के भी लेक्चर सुनेंगे तो प्रभुपाद जी का यही पैटर्न रहता है। ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत ज्यादा केवल ज्ञान देना। प्रभुपाद जी के लेक्चर सुनिए, इतना सिंपल तरीके से प्रभुपाद जी उदाहरण दे दे के समझाते हैं। और इसलिए मैं भी वो सब एग्जाम्पल्स वगैरह क्यों ले पा रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं भी उनके लेक्चर से सुनता हूँ, वही वही स्टाइल है। और यही जरूरी भी है वास्तव में, क्योंकि केवल संस्कृत के श्लोक रट लेना या बाहर ऊपर ऊपर से जान लेना कि गीता क्या है, कैसे बोला था पांडव दुर्योधन, महाभारत जान लेना, ठीक है, चलो कुछ तो उसको पुण्य मिलेगा, लेकिन वो सफिशिएंट नहीं है। जब तक हम भगवत गीता को प्रैक्टिकल लेवल पे जाके हमारे लाइफ से जोड़ के उदाहरण लेके हम ना समझ पाए और कैसे इसको अप्लाई करना है, तो दैट इज वाई इट इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस। और जैसे शिवम ने बताया कि
थ्योरेटिकल
आपने, हाँ, क्या आपने आपने पहले भी
थ्योरेटिकल
गीता
लगता था
पढ़ा,
मतलब
तो फर्स्ट टाइम आप
रिलेट।
पढ़े तो आप उतना नहीं समझ पाए, तो इसलिए जो भी जैसे संदीप बोल रहे थे, मैं भूल जाता हूँ बार बार, नो प्रॉब्लम। आप भी जैसे धीरे धीरे पढ़ते रहेंगे, सुनते रहेंगे ना, तो आपको भी फिर और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा। और मैंने पहले भी बताया कि भगवत गीता इज अ लिविंग बुक। ये एक जीवंत जीवन है इसमें। ये कोई डेड बुक नहीं है जो हम जैसे फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी मैथमेटिक्स में पढ़ते हैं, सब डेड बुक है, क्योंकि एक्सटर्नल डेड मैटर के बारे में पढ़ाया जाता है ना। बायोलॉजी में भी पढ़ाया जाता है तो बॉडी के बारे में पढ़ाया जाता है, बॉडी डेड है। मेन जो लिविंग, जो बॉडी को जो लिविंग बनाता है वो तो सोल है, उसके बारे में तो बताया ही नहीं जाता। तो सोल के बारे में गीता में बताया गया, और स्वयं भगवान सुप्रीम सोल, सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड है लॉर्ड कृष्णा, ही इज स्पीकिंग द नॉलेज ऑफ भगवत गीता, एंड ही इज नॉन डिफरेंट, दिस नॉलेज इज नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम हिमसेल्फ, so that is why it is a living book. So anyone who takes shelter of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he experiences more and more deeper and deeper knowledge. Okay. Yes, Shivam, bro. Anything else?
नो प्रभु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Okay,
गुरुजी
okay. Yes, Sandeep.
गुरुजी जब मतलब मेरा लास्ट ईयर जब 5 मई को मैंने एग्जाम दिया था नीट का, और क्लियर मतलब मैंने आंसर की देख ली थी 6-7 मई को, तो अपने
Yes.
पेरेंट्स से बोल दिया था मैंने कि अब 1 साल नहीं पढ़ूंगा मैं जाके कॉलेज में, और फुल मौज मस्ती करूंगा। फिर उस मौज, अब 1 साल हो भी गया, अब पिछली 5 मई से लेके अब 5 मई निकल के चली गई, और मैं पढ़ा भी नहीं हूँ वैसे। यहाँ का जो एनवायरनमेंट है उसमें मैं बिल्कुल ढल चुका हूँ, आलसी हो चुका हूँ बिल्कुल। पर जब से आपको सुनने लगा हूँ तो थोड़ी जान से आने लगी है, किताबों को खोल कर देखने लगा हूँ मैं दोबारा से। पहले जो प्रैक्टिकल होते थे कर लेता था, जो भी डॉक्टर लोग प्रैक्टिकल कराते थे कर लेता था, पर थ्योरी से तो मैं बिल्कुल हट चुका था। पर
Okay.
जब से आपको सुना है तो मतलब थ्योरी पे मेरा थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट बढ़ने लगा है दोबारा से। और
Okay.
गुरुजी मतलब 60-70% सुधार आ चुका है, आने वाले टाइम में शायद 100% हो जाएगा, दोबारा से वही रूटीन बन जाएगा जो पहले था।
Okay. Very nice. So this is the effect of भगवत गीता। अभी देखो भगवत गीता स्टार्ट नहीं किया है, तभी आपका इतना इम्प्रूवमेंट मिल रहा है आपको। भगवत गीता आप जब पूरा सुन लोगे तो सोचो क्या होगा। मतलब ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप बाबा जी बन जाओगे, ये नहीं बोल रहा, वो मैंने ऑलरेडी समझा दिया आपको, लेकिन कहने का मतलब ये है कि कि आप सोचो, जस्ट इमेजिन, अभी फर्स्ट चैप्टर कंप्लीट हो रहा है, और भगवान कृष्ण बोलना चालू करेंगे सेकंड चैप्टर के 13th वर्स से। अब वो प्रॉपर मतलब नॉलेज देना चालू करेंगे। अभी तो हम अर्जुन के द्वारा जो नॉलेज दिए जा रहे हैं, जो रीजंस है फाइट ना करने के, उसके ऊपर डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, उससे हमको इतना सारा लेसन
आपने बोला था कि जैसे कॉलेज में पहले बोलते हैं कि ड्रिंक वगैरह करते हैं या स्मोकिंग वगैरह, स्मोकिंग
Yes.
वगैरह तो की नहीं मैंने। कॉलेज में अपने जेएनवी में वॉलीबॉल का प्लेयर था और नेशनल लेवल तक खेल के आया हूँ मैं। तो जैसे यहाँ पे कॉलेज में गया मैं, तो कॉलेज में जाके सीनियरों से मिला, और सीनियरों ने देखा अच्छा खेलता है तो सीनियर बुलाने लगे, और बुलाने लगे तो अब सीनियर जब भी कोई पार्टी करते थे तो मुझे जरूर बुलाते थे। वो सब पीजी स्टूडेंट और डॉक्टर लोग होते थे जो हमें लेक्चर देते थे, उनके साथ बैठ के दारू पी मैंने। स्टार्टिंग में आया, जून जुलाई का टाइम था। तो लगभग स्टार्टिंग के 3-4 महीने में ना कुछ नहीं, बेड पे पड़ा रहता था मैं। क्लास में अटेंडेंस लग जाती थी, हमारे लड़कों का 6 का ग्रुप था, 3 मेरे दोस्त थे, वो मेरी अटेंडेंस लगा देते थे, अटेंडेंस पूरी है। पर मैंने बिल्कुल पढ़ाई से दूर हो चुका था, कुछ
Yeah.
सोचा ही नहीं था, सीनियरों ने पूरी तरह से बिगाड़ दिया था। अब ठीक है, लॉकडाउन करके नहीं, वो काफी समझ आने लगा मुझे कि जो मैंने किया गलत ही किया।
Yeah. ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम। आप तो आपको आपने तो जस्ट ऐसा कुछ लेट नहीं हुआ, आप तो वापस आ गए हो बाद में, तो
हाँ हाँ,
फॉरगेट
मैं
अबाउट द पास्ट, नो प्रॉब्लम। बट आपको लर्निंग लेना चाहिए उससे, है ना। लर्निंग बहुत सारी है। कि अभी देखो जैसे आप खुद बताएं कि हमारे खुद के डॉक्टर और बड़े बड़े सीनियर जो हमको पढ़ाते हैं वो हमको बैठा के दारू पिला रहे हैं, तो यही
हाँ,
मैंने चीज
वो मैं
नोटिस
फर्स्ट
करी है।
फर्स्ट ईयर का उनके साथ बैठा हूँ, मेरे साइड में देख रहे कि ये लड़का फर्स्ट ईयर का, उन्हें पता भी लग गया। अब वो वैसे
हाँ,
बदला तो लेंगे जब बाय बाय होगा कभी।
तो ठीक है,
अभी
चलेगा, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, क्या बदला लेंगे। इफ यू टेक शेल्टर ऑफ द लॉर्ड, आप सब हो जाएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। बट आप सही मार्ग पे चलते रहिए, सही मार्ग को मत छोड़िए। और अगर चैलेंजेस आएंगे भी तो फिर भी कोई टेंशन नहीं लेने का, वो हमेशा विक्टोरियस होते हैं। ठीक है,
हाँ गुरु जी, ठीक है।
ओके, वेरी नाइस, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
ओके।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा।